Welcome to Oddball. I'm Amin Elhassan. That over there is Izzy Gutierrez. And guys, the KD stuff in Phoenix ain't going so good. I don't know if you guys saw Sunday night's game.
He's in Phoenix?
Kidding. Yeah, he still is for now. I don't know if you guys saw Sunday night's game against the T-Wolves. They were up and then they weren't. And then they were down by a lot. And once again, the Suns lose and they get further and further from not the NBA championship, not like home court advantage, not even playoff lock. They get further and further from the play-in spot, that 10th spot. They are down in 11 and they're down bad. And then this comes out. Shams Charania reports that Suns and KD are likely to work together on a trade a contender this offseason. Quote, unless there's a significant run into the playoffs, league sources believe there will be real changes coming to the Suns from a roster standpoint that likely starts with Kevin Durant. By the way, I can confirm and corroborate that reporting because I spoke to Dwayne Rankin, who covers the Phoenix Suns for the Arizona Republic Sunday on NBA radio. And he said the same thing, basically. He said, unless they go on a crazy, miraculous run, expect to see Kevin Durant in a different jersey. So, Izzy, is this inevitable after they tried to trade him at the deadline and got rebuffed?
Well, what just happened right here is giving very much Chris Broussard after LeBron James announced he was going back to Cleveland, and Chris Broussard saying, I can confirm that LeBron James is going back to Cleveland because he just announced it. But you gave me another triple confirmation, right?
My confirmation actually happened on Sunday on my radio show. So sorry. Technically my confirmation came before Shams's, but this isn't what this is all about, right? This is
it's not.
No one's playing Credit Olympics right now.
This is all about second guessing the Phoenix Suns, which is what everybody should be doing today. And what I say is, why didn't they make this trade during the trade deadline when you've already known you leaked his name? You've already known mentally it seems like you're going the other direction with this trio. You already know that Kevin Durant does not take these things especially well, but you were asking for the moon and the sky when you were trying to trade Kevin Durant to the Miami Heat. And you think what? Because there's no deadline during the offseason that you're going to get the moon in the sky now? Because this whole idea, this also cracked me up, by the way. I mean, this whole idea is if they don't make a surprising playoff run. So KD can screw up all of this, right? He can help them make the deep playoff run and still demand that he gets his ass out of there. So it doesn't matter what that they're planning on. KD wants out. He's going to want out. And why does he want out? Because you guys tried to move him and let it leak. So now, like all this maneuvering that they're doing, whatever, man, KD is going to get whatever he wants.
See, you went that way, right? He could just screw it all up and then just get out. My mind went the other way, that they go on the miraculous run, that it looks awesome. And at the end of it, everyone's like, oh my God, isn't that awesome? He's like, yeah, I still want to get out of here. Right? I think there's a 0% chance he comes back. I thought he gave a very thoughtful, eloquent answer on the Draymond Green show where he said, I didn't want to go in the middle of the season. We started something, let's see it through. And then if we're going to go somewhere else, if we're going to reconsider, let that happen in off season. I thought it was like the best PR answer you could give to that question without being misleading, without being kind of betraying your actual feelings, but also not blowing up everything and lighting a fire to where he's at right now.
And shout out to KD, by the way, for just going on the podcast and talking about it. Because, yeah, I know, it's not like your classic newspaper, all the reporters there wanted you to go to them, but at least he's discussing that honestly in a way that other people can consume it.
On the record, yes. And so Sham says there are 4 to 6 teams that'll be interested. You think we could name them all, Izzy? 4 to 6 is funny, given how many teams in the league should pine for Kevin Durant. But okay, what are the 4 to 6 teams, Izzy?
So the teams, I mean, Houston has to be one of them, right? Because we've heard him linked to Houston. Miami has to be one of them because if I haven't seen him play, maybe it's just in my dreams that I've seen him play in Miami uniform so much because he's been linked here so much. Who else are we talking? Could the Lakers be one of them?
No, not Lakers.
Lakers okay, they're out of it. So Dallas. Yeah. And who else? Who's our fourth?
Milwaukee. I don't know. Like I think at that point it really starts to get something. I mean, 4 to 6 is. See, here's the thing. If I said who's interested, I think the list is long. If I said who has the capability, the resources to make it happen, the Timberwolves are a name. The Grizzlies are a name. Is it mutual with him in Memphis? Probably not. Is it mutual with him in Minnesota to play with Anthony Edwards? Maybe it is, right? But again, a lot of these places we're saying, I'm like, it sounds like a lot of duplication. Like Houston is one of the unique places where, like, no, we don't have to give up too much from the current roster. And no, we have a need for someone like you who can fit right in. Whereas in Miami, it's kind of like, save us, right? And in Minnesota, it's all right. So you're adding another great scoring wing to play alongside your scoring wing. It's not like Kevin Durant hasn't done that before. Golden State, do they throw their hat back in the ring one more time?
Does the other team that's going to get KD have to align themselves with what KD wants? Because is it, hey, KD wants championships ahead of everything from now on? Or is it, hey, kind of want the experience of playing with Anthony Edwards. We'll see what happens. I kind of want the experience of playing in a, Miami Heat organization where everything is very structured and, militant, if you will. That. Well, probably not. Let's see what happens. But I don't think that he is going into even his next stop thinking, hey, if we're not going to win a championship next year, I don't want to go there. I think his thinking is a little bit different.
I don't know. I think championship for him is always the goal. He's a great player, and he knows at the end of the day, he's going to be measured by championships, rightly or wrongly. I think also relationships matter. That's why Anthony Edwards as a lure matters, and that's why Ime Udoka down in Houston matters, because he's got a relationship with him. And so that's a coach he could respect. That's a coach he trusts. You play with a nice, young, up-and-coming team. And like I said, you don't have to really gut the whole thing, because many of the draft picks that the Houston Rockets could offer in a deal are Phoenix's own picks. That's right. They got the picks back from the rights back from Brooklyn in a deal from last offseason. So the Rockets have the right to swap picks in 25 and 27 with the Suns, as well as the right to swap their pick with the Suns or Mavericks in 2029. If the Suns retain those, at the very least, that gives them the knowledge that, hey, we can be bad. We can try and fail and be bad and not have to worry about our pick going somewhere else. And I think that security has to rank above any other kind of pick-related asset you could get in any deal, right?
That's where you look at the whole situation and say, hey, which team makes every party the happiest? It would have to be the Houston Rockets. And KD can convince himself of, hey, I can win a championship. I can do it as sort of a mentor to younger kids, players, which I haven't really been known to do. And, given that Anthony Edwards is, so vocally saying that KD is his favorite player, and a lot of people say the same things, I think that might be something that he would very much enjoy. And so whether it's a Jalen Green, if he would be still on that team, or a Men Thompson or whomever, I think, that would be the perfect fit. It feels like.
And one more thing to add, if they did land Kevin Durant, what a 5 years it's been for Roth Stone, the GM of the Rockets, right? You went from inheriting, okay, I got Harden, I got Westbrook, let's try and make this thing work, to within like weeks, both of them are like, get me the hell out of here, to the whole John Wall thing where they're like, John Wall is going to be a mentor who never plays and he'll be cool with it. All right. That felt like a million light years away from where they are now. A good team with a great upside and perhaps a chance to add Kevin Durant.
All right. Well, there was more news broken over the weekend. This one was involving Joel Embiid. Shams Charania says,
broken.
Yes, he will miss the remainder of the regular season. Just found out about that about Matthew Tkachuk also, but big bummer. But the Sixers stated Embiid will, quote, focus on treatment and rehabilitation for his left knee. Man, I mean, I think we've sort of touched on this in the past, where it's just like, maybe they should have shut him down earlier. We couldn't really see this coming necessarily with his knee. But what is his future with the Sixers as far as you can see it? Or does this signal like maybe the end of somebody else's future? Like, I don't know, Daryl Morey.
First of all, shout out to Matthew Tkachuk, who laid it all on the line for one meaningless win against Canada, and then one less meaningless loss against Canada.
Well, if you watched it, it wasn't meaningless.
Well, it was until they lost the tournament. Did not lose the tournament? Did they? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Let's move on.
You played okay. Yeah. So, medical retirement. So in the NBA, they've got this thing called medical retirement, that when a player is literally, because of either injury or illness, cannot play anymore. Basically, there's a waiting period to make sure that this condition is in fact permanent, at which point the team can apply to have the salary removed. Now, the salary is still paid to the player. He gets his money, but it is removed from the salary cap. The most recent big name example of this, obviously, is Chris Bosh from 2016 who had the blood clots. Now, the way it works is not like the team just says, yeah, you failed the physical. All right, can I take his salary out the books? No, there's got to be an independent physician joint appointed by the league and the Players Association who review the medicals and all that stuff and then make the judgment of whether.
And on that note, this would have to be one of the worst knee injuries of all time if it's declared that no medical situation can fix this knee.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, they're talking about like doing something to his hip to make sure that his two legs are aligned. It's up there. It's not. Right. It's not the worst that I've heard, but it's definitely up there. And so
that's a possibility.
It's a possibility, and here's why: if you're the Sixers, right, as long as Embiid is on the books but cannot play, you're screwed. You are royally screwed. You owe him $250 million over the next few years. The salary cap is restrictive. You already made a bad bet on Paul George. It basically makes it so that what we saw this year is your reality every year. You're hoping Tyrese Maxey stays healthy. You're hoping Paul George stays healthy enough. And this team has to fight and scrap and claw. You really can't improve your team that much because the salary cap situation is that suffocated. And so
but I mean, isn't that, man, this is what drives me wild about this conversation, right? Because, and this is not to tie everything to the Luka trade, but when you think about it in those sort of same terms, right? Like you had Daryl Morey basically saying, hey, I don't care what the last several seasons have ended like, which is Joel Embiid not at 100% and the Sixers underwhelming in the playoffs. I don't care what's happened. We're going to trust that one day that will not end this way and Joel Embiid will be healthy and we will go further into the playoffs than we ever have, versus the Mavericks thinking, which was, we keep winning and we keep improving on how we win every single year. But damn it, one year it's going to play out the way I imagined it, which is with him being hurt. Let's trade him. I mean, it's mind-boggling. Like if you would have said in September, wow, hey, you guys, they traded Joel Embiid for I don't know who. Let's go Anthony Davis. You wouldn't have even been that shocked because it's like, why would I not trade a Joel Embiid? He never finishes the playoffs. He's always in the second round and out. He's always crying about his injuries. But yet it's the opposite happened. You traded away this reasonably healthy 25-year-old who just made it to the finals. That part was mind-boggling to me. So I just say that to say that maybe the 76ers should have done this earlier and that nobody would have criticized them to holy hell the same way Nico Harrison's getting criticized. Joel Embiid before the season.
Well, trading Joel Embiid and medical retirement are two vastly different things, right?
Correct. I'm talking about trading him or looking to move on from him, which I think people will still, if they get the right medical reports, consider bringing him on.
Yeah, perhaps. I think the big mistake was you could work around that and with the flexibility, but the moment you put all your chips in the middle of the table for Paul George to be the guy that helps you glide past whatever Embiid pitfalls. That to me, that was where the thing broke. And that's what ultimately might end up costing Daryl Morey his job. All right, real quick. The Lakers and LeBron have looked really good lately, obviously since acquiring Luka Doncic. And LeBron himself has been terrific since he turned 40. He's putting up numbers that mirror his 2012-2013 MVP season. Again, the numbers on the left are from an entire season. The numbers on the right are since December 30th.
Right.
I don't know why
the
we're
last
doing
couple of months. So it's 2 months versus 6 months. I get it. It's still crazy impressive. I get it. LeBron's still putting up crazy numbers, but I think this is just for you, Amin, because we have been trying to push you in one direction when it comes to the Lakers and say, hey, are they contenders? And I keep trying to push you in that direction. Hey, are they contenders? And now when you've got, hey, look, it's 2012, 2013 LeBron's on the team. So Amin, are they contenders?
Yeah, so basically you're asking me, hey, I mean, you push them in one direction. Is it because I don't know that they're so beautiful? They're not. Look, they're better than what they were, but that's not the reason why they're not contenders. They're not contenders because they are structurally not prepared to win in the playoffs against certain teams. They're playing the Rockets, sure. But if you go up against the Denver Nuggets, that's going to end real quick. And if you go up against Oklahoma City Thunder, that's going to end real quick. And I think those are the teams that we're measuring against. And unfortunately, if they're the 2 seed, it's almost guaranteed they have to see Nikola Jokic and the Nuggets. They don't have the personnel.
Here's the thing. I'm going to let you blast the Lakers all you want. But when you just summarily dismiss the Rockets as being knocked out in the first round, I'm just going to have to stop you. I stopped listening to that. So we're going to toss. We're going to go to break here. Coming up, we got classics. It's a game of the week, but with a little bit of a twist.
Is there a twist?
Yeah,
I don't know if
there's
there's
a twist. Welcome back to Oddball. Amin, we got some news coming out of the league, and this is always exciting for some people, usually you. This upcoming summer, the league's going to settle that long-running feud you've all been sort of hanging on by the seat of your pants by, or is it the edge of your seat? Edge of your seat by. It's between the Raptors and the Knicks, all right? So this comes after the Knicks sued the Raptors in August 2023, alleging the theft of thousands of confidential files. The Knicks were seeking over, get this, $10 million in damages for those files. The Raptors called it all a public relations stunt, said it was baseless. And in June of last year, a judge ruled that Adam Silver, not some other judge, Adam Silver would be the ultimate judge and settle the case. If you're wondering where you could hear about this from an expert, not here, but instead we have Amin Elhassan, who's pretty close to it. He'll explain it to you. Amin, take it away.
First of all, I love the idea of the judge saying, Adam Silver, you take it. Because I just imagine like the Knicks walking in with all these documents. It's like, sir, we'd like to file a lawsuit. And the judge says, let me take a look at it. Like, you got to be kidding me, right? Yo, Adam, take this, man. I got real cases to take care of over here. So that's number one. Number two. So what do the Knicks allege in their lawsuit? They allege that the Raptors coach Ikechu Azotam, who was the video coordinator and director of video analytics, player development assistant, kind of held up many roles with the Knicks. He goes from there to the Raptors in 2023. The Knicks say that Toronto and specifically Coach Darko Rajkovic ordered Azotam to provide internal information after Toronto began recruiting him in summer 2023. This information includes play frequency reports, a prep book for the 2022-23 season, video scouting files, and opposition research. Here's the problem. All the things that they mentioned are basically standard stuff. What's really interesting is they don't say Knicks playbook, Knicks internal evaluation.
Standard stuff meaning a lot of people could have access to this that play for other teams, not just the people in that organization. So
basically, every NBA team has a subscription to Synergy Sports. Synergy Sports, you've seen the customers version of it on the NBA.com site. The team version is more bells and whistles, but at the end of the day, every team has access to this. So it tells us how often they run ISOs, how often they run pick and rolls or whatever. And so the information that he took was opposition research. So maybe an opposition scouting report. It's got the play calls in it as well that their advanced scouts might have gathered. Again, none of this is super proprietary. As one legal expert said, this isn't the 11 herbs of spices of KFC. This isn't the Coca-Cola formula. This isn't the Google algorithm. This is stuff that is pretty available amongst all NBA teams. So it's kind of like one of these things where it's like, this isn't that big of a deal, but the Knicks chose to make us think about it. Now, here's the interesting part. The Knicks fought against Adam Silver being the arbiter of this case. Why? Because specifically, they stated they were concerned about the relationship between the governor of the Raptors, Larry Tannenbaum, who's also the chairman of the NBA Board of Governors, and Adam Silver, that they're close friends. To which I said, well, aren't all 30 NBA owners pretty much close friends with Adam Silver? And then I thought, wait a sec, if there was one owner who wouldn't be close friends with Adam Silver, who, when it came down to it, okay, now I can see why the Knicks
might be in a band.
Upset. Yeah. And so the final little bit of trivia here, Izzy, this just tickled me to no end. This is the first time two NBA teams there's been a lawsuit between two NBA teams. It hasn't happened since the 70s. And the last time it was is when the Nets were sued by the Knicks because the Nets wanted to move from Long Island to New Jersey. Izzy, I'll give you three guesses. Who won that lawsuit?
Not the Knicks.
There you go. That's
always guess number one, not the Knicks.
Whenever you say who lost or who won, excuse me, not the Knicks is a pretty good bet. So the Knicks are
always going to be the Drake in these situations, and whoever is suing or whoever is getting sued will be the Kendrick Lamar. in this situation, right? By the way, I do
Which
believe
is weird
that
because the Raptors have Drake as their global
That's
ambassador.
true, oddly enough, who they probably aren't really a fan of right now. I believe the 11 herbs and spices is already leaked. I think we already know what they are. Just look it up. I think whether or not it's accurate or not, oregano is one of them. Well, we should play that game. Or we have to name one spice until one of us is wrong. All right. Spicy little segment we got coming up now. It's called Classic Watch, which, by the way, I wore all of my classic watches for. I didn't know what the segment was about, but I've got this one on my wrist, which is just some like oversized, obnoxious watch that I won at a poker tournament. It's not really worth anything. It's just shiny. But
wait, hold on. Wait. You're playing poker tournaments where they're gambling watches?
Well, it was my watch on it. It was very old school. In fact, it's also kind of like that movie Life, because this was like my other classic watch is like some one of these right here.
My brother had one of those. To open
these things. Oh, there it goes.
Years ago. My brother was like, he was a pioneer on all the dumb trends, like the pocket watch.
So never knows somebody else. What time is it? I have to slowly pull this thing out and just kind of open it. All right. So classic watch, NBA regular season. It's way too long. Last week we picked games of the week. They turned up being stellar. They were like on the instant classic list. So each week we're going to highlight a few matchups that have a better than normal chance of becoming an instant classic. And we'll tell you why it could become an instant classic. Did I get that right, Amin? Is that what this is now?
I know. I'm trying to understand it too. It's like, hey guys, pick a game of the week. And we pick games of the week, and the games that we picked were really good. It's like, good, now be better, make it epic, make it classic. What makes a classic regular season game?
A watch. Oh.
Where was that watch?
Who do you got, Amin?
Oh, okay. So we got a lot of different options, right? We've got Warriors at Knicks, and every time Steph Curry goes to the Garden, that's always a big deal. We got Thunder at Grizzlies. That was a little sexier when the Memphis Grizzlies were number 2 in the West, but I guess everything's fluid because that's on Wednesday. We got T-Wolves at Hornets. Why? I don't know. Something about Ant versus Melo. Then we've got a couple of Laker games. Knicks at Lakers on Thursday night. Lakers at Celtics on Saturday night. Finally, we got Thunder at Nuggets on Sunday afternoon. Izzy, I don't think you can go wrong with the hyper-inflated expectations of the NBA's 2 biggest media markets. It's got to be Knicks Lakers, right? Because both of these fan bases have deluded themselves into thinking, we're going to win the championship. Hell, they're probably thinking this might be an NBA Finals preview.
Yeah, not only that, but if it was Warriors-Knicks on February 27th, I would have said lock that one in because Steph Curry is going to have an amazing game because February 27th, we should just call it Steph Curry Day because three of his greatest acts were on February 27th. It was the 54-point game at MSG. It was the from 37 feet away double bang against the Thunder. And then it was the 12. It's absolutely true. Go check the box score. And then it was the 12 threes from at Orlando, which we just experienced this year. But it's not February 27th. It's March something or other. We're already in March. It's sad. So yeah, I got to go with the Knicks at Lakers because it gives you everything that you mentioned in terms of the big markets. It also gives you that fake confidence because if you go nuts against the Knicks and they don't really defend, or if the Knicks go nuts against the Lakers and they don't really defend. I saw the Knicks barely beat Miami in overtime in a game that they probably should have won by 20 if they were doing things normally. Andrew Wiggins was out. A bunch of players were out. So yeah, I think I'm going Knicks at Lakers for maybe like a 130 to 125 nail biter.
Now the Laker fans will push their glasses up the bridge of their nose and say, well, actually, since the Luka deal, we've had the second best defensive rating. I don't care. I don't care. Right. These two teams did meet on February 1st. The Lakers were victorious 128 to 112. We're both on Knicks at Lakers as a must-watch game. I think it's just going to be fun. It's going to be a classic watch. Izzy, if I asked you to give me a second game, though, which one would you go with? Because I have like the NBA nerd answer, and then I have like come on, man. Let's not make this any harder than it needs to be.
Well, the NBA nerd answer is Thunder at Grizzlies. Like, I need to know if the Grizzlies are legit. And the Thunder, like, they have such a cushion right now, so they're probably gettable, right? They're probably not taking every game so damn serious.
Not that big a cushion, because remember, they've got to worry about home court advantage in the finals. They got to keep pace with Cleveland.
Or do they? Because what we should do is do some sort of all-star game situation and let the winner of that get home court. But whatever, that's for another year. Yeah, that would be my one if it was, hey, just what's at stake here other than just, made up narratives and feeling good about yourself going into the playoffs. I got to go with that one.
Yeah, I gotta go Lakers Celtics, man. Let me just be a lazy fan. Like I just like, I have the nostalgia going through me. Also,
so if it's Lakers Celtics, is Jason Tatum pretending to be Jason Tatum or is he pretending to be Kobe? I'm so confused.
Oh man, we're gonna get unlimited Kobe content from Jason Tatum on that day. Really quick before we get out of here, what's the last classic watch you recall? What made it special? Doesn't matter.
2006 Game 6 NBA Finals.